I still remember clearly when I got my first muscle up. I was in a park. I've been practicing for a while, just could never get the transition. I had the strength. All of a sudden I pulled and I just landed on top of the rings. I came down, I was by myself. It was a very, very happy moment for me. So yeah, it can be done. It's just about doing the right progressions and just being consistent. So I want to make a quick video today just to help you guys to get your first muscle up. With this stuff, you need a foundation of bodyweight strength. So you need those 10 chin-ups and pull-ups. Once you've got those, we need 5 chest to ring pull-ups to the chest, and we need 5 ring dips. Once you've got that, you've pretty much got the strength to achieve a muscle up. It's just understanding the transition, which I'll show you a good progression to really learn that. And the other thing that holds a lot of guys back is shoulder extension. So they kind of haven't got the mobility required to kind of get in the correct position, which makes it more difficult to actually transition on top of the rings, and it also leads to injuries, shoulder, elbow tendonitis and things like that. So there's a couple of things we obviously got to get stronger in those pull-ups and dips, understand the transition, and make sure that we have adequate shoulder extension to make sure that we can actually do the transition properly. Alright, so I'm going to take you over now and I'm going to show you some drills that we can practice. Alright, rotating ring pull-ups to the chest. So with the muscle up, once you hit the center of the chest, that's the checkpoint to start the transition. So this is why these are important. All right, we need these ring dips because once we get on top of the rings, we need the strength to obviously get it to the top in that locked out position. These can be pretty challenging for some, and they will take some practice and some consistent hard work, but eventually you'll get there. We also need a support hold because in the top of the rep, we want that external rotation to really finish the muscle up. So really important that we can maintain that position in the top. All right, so once we get the muscle up, it's really a powerful movement. It opens up a lot of doors once we can get up and over the rings. But one of a big factor to actually achieving a muscle up is getting a strong false grip because it's gonna make it a lot easier. So the way I set up for the false grip, I grab high on the ring and then I kind of just wrap my hand around. So we're really trying to bear most of the weight kind of on that bone, and we're wrapping around, and you want to squeeze nice and tight because we really want to try and maintain that false grip throughout the whole movement. So a good way just to kind of train that false grip and get stronger in it. This will take some time to really get comfortable in this position, but once you do, it's going to make this type of stuff a lot easier. So grab on top, wrap the wrist around, squeeze nice and tight, keep the elbows in, and we're going to really bear down into the rings, and then we're just going to do some false grip rows. From here, I'm going to get that external rotation at the top, completely lock my elbows, and then pull. Think about getting rings to the middle of the chest. Now you may not have the wrist flexibility to go to a complete lockout in the bottom. If that's you, just go as low as you can and try to hang out here a little bit. And over time, you're naturally going to get that flexibility and strength and range. Okay, so once you build some strength with some false grip rows, you want to be able to do just a false grip hang. If you don't have the flexibility, you just lower to the point that you can maintain. Obviously, if you can get to that full locked out, externally rotated position, that's where we want to spend most of the time. Position is the trickiest part for most people. So this little drill is probably the most powerful I come from. I actually got it from Ido Portal when I did one of his workshops. So the way it works, we get in that false grip, start on high, wrap the wrist around, elbows in, and then we're just going to get right up on our tippy toes, and we're just going to grease the groove of the transition. So a couple things we want to look out for as we come up and over. We want to put some weight in that top of that dip position, and on the way down we want to make sure that the elbows come under as well, and we maintain that false grip, and we want to make sure that the rings stay close. So we don't want the rings out here because that makes the muscle up a lot harder. So think about keeping the rings close in contact with the body the whole time, and we're literally just going to grease the groove for about 45 seconds to a minute. Only use the feet as much as you need to. The feet are there only for a little bit of assistance. They shouldn't be doing all the work. Really powerful exercise, builds strength, strengthens the false grip, and improves mobility at the same time. Another thing that we really want to focus on is as we come up and over, we don't want the elbows to flare. Now that will generally happen if you're lacking shoulder extension, but it's really important to make sure that our elbows don't get destroyed when we practice the muscle up. That was one of the biggest things that I kind of experienced a lot of elbow pain when I was trying to learn the muscle up, and the big part of that was making sure that my elbows didn't flare. So we don't want them to flare, keep them in,
under and over.
So here are some drills to improve shoulder extension. The German hang is probably the most powerful. So we obviously want to be able to hold our own body weight, but if we can't, lower the rings so you can use some assistance of the feet. But over time, you want to be able to load your whole body weight into the shoulders. Here's just a hang in that bottom of the dip position, just to kind of get used to that position of obviously, so when you do transition on top of the rings that you're used to here, and you can actually build some strength to dip out of here, and this will improve mobility in this position and help the transition. The next one is a pullover. This is active here. So I normally go 10 reps with a 10-second hold in the top of this position, and then you pull over, and then you kind of passively hang out here. You hang out here for anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. A powerful one, but if you are really tight through the hamstrings and stuff, this can be a difficult one to get into this position. So you may need to stick to the other shoulder extension exercise if this one just doesn't work for you. And now I've got a program for you guys. I'm confident that if you do this, if you got the strength, you'll get a muscle up in a couple of weeks if you just grease the groove of this stuff.